The news: a New York judge has ruled Prince Andrew will face a civil sex abuse trial in the United States later this year. Virginia Giuffre claims that she was sexually abused by the Duke in 2001 when she was just 17 years old.
Well, the Duke of York strongly denies the allegations, obviously, but we're hoping now to be joined, I believe, by Nigel Cawthorne, who, of course, wrote a seminal piece on this very, very topic. So, Nigel, thank you very, very much for being on the show with us. What does this all really mean for Prince Andrew, then? I mean, he could settle, couldn't he? But the court of public opinion, that doesn't look too good. Talk me through your views on it.
Well, I mean, it gets worse and worse for Prince Andrew. Yes, there was a possibility of him settling. It would be a nice excuse to say, look, I don't want to spoil the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, so no matter how much it costs, we'll get rid of this. I mean, first of all, I think the British taxpayer would kind of wonder where the money's coming from. But it doesn't seem that Virginia Giuffre wants to settle without some admission of fault on his behalf and an apology, which he plainly isn't prepared to give.
And just take us back a little bit. Why were his lawyers saying that the complaint should be dismissed?
Well, there were two reasons. One that was thrown out earlier on, that in her complaint she said she was living in Colorado when the defence maintained that she was living in Australia. And the other one was that Virginia Giuffre made a settlement with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2009 for $500,000 in a sex trafficking case. And a part of that settlement was that she wouldn't take action against any other potential defendant. And Prince Andrew's defence argued that he was a potential defendant in that case, but nobody's accused him of sex trafficking. Would be even worse than the situation he's in now.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because initially I thought, well, hang on, how can he not be a potential defendant in that case? But it is the difference, isn't it? It's a different charge, isn't it? Really?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We must remember that she's accusing him of sexual abuse and rape in the first degree. I mean, very serious charges.
They are very serious charges. Now, in the actual process that takes place now, because this is going to be a civil case, right? So a civil sex case. What could be the worst-case scenario for Prince Andrew?
Well, there's certainly no good outcome from this. I mean, he could simply refuse to go along with the case and not turn up, and there would be a default judgment against him. Again, there would be massive damages for him to pay, and we'd all ask where the cash was coming from. And secondly,
where is it coming from? Sorry, just out of interest. Where is it coming from? Where is the cash coming from?
Well, so far, it's been reported that the Queen is paying for his defence out of money coming from the Duchy of Lancaster, which seems to be rather odd because the Duchy of Lancaster it doesn't belong to the Queen. The Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster is actually a member of the cabinet, but the income from the Duchy goes to the sovereign to pay for their official duties. And I don't think defending your errant son in a sleazy sex case in a foreign court is actually an official duty.
No, it would be weird if it was, to be fair. But the way it's going, you never know, do you, I suppose? But there we are.
I mean, so how do you think this is going to affect the royal family? I mean, the Queen's Jubilee is coming up. I mean, this is obviously not great news at all, is it?
Well, it's going to cast a very dark cloud over it, and obviously at every event in the summer, every commentator is going to say, well, where's Prince Andrew? He's going to be conspicuous by his absence.
Yeah, he's going to be conspicuous by his absence, and yeah, no, it's. I feel very sorry for his daughters as well, to be honest with you. Obviously, you know, he denies all these charges. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the fact that they're all being dragged through it, regardless, isn't it? Really, I think, and no doubt the Queen will not be too pleased either. Nigel, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll speak to you again very soon. It sounds like we will, because this is going to rumble on, isn't it? Nigel Cawthorne, there, author of Prince Andrew, Epstein, Maxwell, and the Palace. Gosh, it is really lewd stuff, isn't it, all of this?
You know, it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon.